I first tried to record one of these during the dock worker strike. These dock workers, even though they make far more than average, thought they deserved more. What doesn't get reported often are the people who rely on those docks being open and functioning smoothly for their livelihoods. The citrus crop was being harvested during that dock worker strike, and citrus is a perishable item, much of which is exported to Asia, and that caused a lot of misery in an already battered agricultural sector of the economy. I also touched on the cancerous nature of unions by using the UK as an example. The UK unions brought Britain to a halt in the late 70s. They were down to 3-day work weeks because there was a shortage of electricity and many other supplies. The inefficiency of the coal unions required that they were heavily subsidized because their workforce was so overpaid and so overmanned that it pulled so much money from other sectors of the economy that those workers had to give up on buying the items they normally bought with that money. The net result is that you had an overmanned workforce in the coal industry pulling a lot of money out of the economy through taxpayer subsidies without an increase in production, and that led to layoffs in other sectors of the economy. We are currently experiencing something similar in California, where we have unnecessarily high gasoline costs because of government policy, and that requires so much out of household finances that it leaves money for little else. So people that were spending money on other items are spending it all on gasoline, and similarly people are laid off elsewhere over unnecessarily high energy prices. It isn't just gasoline. In California, electric rates are incredibly high, and that leads to similar results as high coal prices, high steel prices, high electric rates, and high gasoline rates. And it's all caused by government policy. And that's the short version. I found myself talking for 40 minutes on that. But, it's difficult to know how to narrow it down. And so much is changing, and little of it for the better. We have so many people that are so misguided, and it even crosses educational lines. I have an article here by Paul Krugman, who's a Nobel Prize winning economist. This is an article published on April 24th of this year, and the title is Zombies of 2016. The main point of it is that Republicans are always using scare tactics about policies of the left. And Paul Krugman talks about Reaganomics. Says, despite right-wing predictions of doom, tax increases have not undermined the economy. And he goes on to say that tax cuts have. But the problem is that government does not produce anything. That is just an incredibly backward way of thinking, that government drives growth. The private sector drives growth. The only reason government has money is because of a thriving private sector. Now, this calling Republicans calling Republicans zombies. You can't lump a large group of people like that into one category any more than you can the Democrats. All levels of income and education exist in both parties. And in this article also mentions the Affordable Care Act and criticism by the Republicans of that Affordable Care Act. Krugman says, conservatives made a series of dire predictions about what would happen when the Affordable Care Act went into effect. It would actually reduce the number of jobs. It would reduce the number of Americans with health insurance. It would lead to rate shock. As premiums soared, it would cost the government more than projected, and it would be a job destroyer. It in fact did destroy jobs. The 2.3% tax in Obamacare is a 2.3% tax on revenue instead of the usual 2.3% of profit. This tax is on medical device manufacturers. One medical device manufacturer had their profit reduced from $100 million per year to $50 million per year because of this 2.3% tax. This company laid thousands of people off. There are other companies in that field who ran on a slimmer profit margin who actually started losing money over this tax. I'd hate to see how many jobs were lost at those companies. It did lead to rate shock. Premiums have gone up. The cost of the bronze plan is nearly as much as the cost of very good plans that people had before they did lose their jobs. And many of the state exchanges are running in the red or will be soon. This has been in the news. This is just mind-boggling that this Krugman is lying about this stuff. He's hiding behind this Nobel Prize in economics to drive an agenda that is all based on lies. It's the same thing as Gruber did. He's an economist at MIT who also lied about the nature of this healthcare bill. He admitted it was based on lies later, but the damage had been done because it had been passed by the time that all came out.